Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Charley King Show, Bluebell Talks. If you've listened to my podcast before, you'll know that we normally celebrate the world of weddings and events, creativity, and the extraordinary people behind them. We spend our time talking about love and joy and beautiful celebrations and the moments that bring people together. But today's conversation is different. Because while we all love celebrating life's happiest moments, we also have a responsibility to talk about the moments that are incredibly difficult, the ones that often happen quietly behind closed doors, and far too often in silence. Suicide has touched so many families, friends, colleagues, and communities, yet it remains one of the conversations many people still struggle to have. My hope today is that by talking openly, honestly, and compassionately, we can help remove some of that stigma and remind anyone listening that they are never alone. I have the privilege of supporting an extraordinary gala called Survive and Thrive Los Angeles, an organization born from unimaginable loss but driven by hope. My guest today is Alexander Morris, whose life changed forever when he lost his beloved brother Levar to suicide in January 2022. Out of profound grief, Alexander chose courage. Instead of suffering in silence, he shared his story, and in doing so, created a movement dedicated to making sure others don't have to face their darkest moments alone. Joining him is Abby Russell, who has also become a very important voice in this mission, helping bring awareness, compassion, and connection to a cause that affects so many more people than we often realize. Together, they're leading a remarkable effort to raise funds and awareness for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention Los Angeles chapter, with a goal of raising $30,000 to support prevention programs, education, crisis resources, and life-saving services. Today's conversation isn't about sadness. It's about hope. It's about the incredible strength it takes to tell your story. It's about recognizing that asking for help is never a sign of weakness. It's about learning how each of us can recognize when someone may be struggling and how a simple conversation can truly save a life. If today's episode encourages just one person to reach out for support or inspires just one listener to check in with a friend or a family member, then this conversation will have made a difference. Before we begin, I would like to let our listeners know that today's episode discusses suicide and grief. If this topic is difficult for you, please take care while listening. If you or someone you know needs support, resources are available and we'll include those in the show notes. So with enormous gratitude for their courage and willingness to share such a personal journey, please join me in welcoming Alexander Morris and Abby Russell. Alexander and Abby, thank you both so much for being here. It's such an honor to have you here. And I know this isn't an easy conversation to have, but thank you for your willingness to be open, to share, to help others.
Thank you for having us, Charley.
No, it's truly, truly an honor. And before we get to talk about Survive and Thrive, the wonderful gala that we are all working on to raise money, Alexander, I would love to talk about your brother, Levar. What would you want the world to know about your brother?
I think what I want everyone to know and what the world did know about him was he was exceptionally brilliant. It's just like fascinating to watch. And someone that was in a career that suicide is actually very prevalent in, which is hospitality. Um, he was always, always a beam of light for everyone. And it was so fun to watch him go. You would think that there was never anything wrong, and I think that goes into our conversation today, is how to have that conversation because there aren't any notes, there aren't any signs that are blatant in front of us, and he was so loving, so caring, especially as a father.
So he was a brother, he was a son,
Yeah.
he was a father, and you said he had 2 children?
Yeah, Devin and Jace. Yeah, I so love it.
So Did this come out of the blue to you? How did you, because I know most people do not talk about their struggle, they do it alone. And that's where there's so many people out there struggling silently
Mm.
that they do not tell anyone. Was he struggling in silence?
Yeah, it became apparent after the fact.
Mm.
From my vantage point, having a relationship with him, and this is where, like, I advocate for everybody to really understand what unconditional love is,
Mhm.
because I had a lot of anger in our relationship. Like, we had a lot of conflict, and I couldn't see. Yeah, that's him.
There
That's
he is.
2011. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's such a great picture.
Yeah.
Where is he? What? Tell us.
So we always did a lot of family trips to Mexico.
Mm.
And so that was one of the family trips that we took, and I'm sure that was on one of the cruises. Like it's just like one of the much more happier moments. And a Kool-Aid shirt, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So that was 2011. When did he start? When did you start knowing that perhaps there were signs that he was struggling?
So
Oh, it's a
yeah,
picture of you
this
both.
yeah. So we're 11 years apart. So like whenever one of us was graduating from one segment of our life, the
Yeah.
other one was traditionally starting one.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big age gap.
Yeah. And I think that's also a thing as well, like for families out there that have age gaps with their kids, siblings, etc.
Mhm.
Like there's such as like compartmentalization of what the relationship is supposed to be because, right? Age gap.
Mhm.
I know for me, like at that time, I was just like, just tell me where to go and what to do
Yeah.
because like my siblings don't understand me and I don't want to understand them. I mean, like kids being kids.
Yeah.
So there was him with his firstborn, yeah. Same shirt.
Same shit. He loved that shirt. didn't he? Well, look at that.
Same shirt.
Oh, that's his
Um,
firstborn.
yeah, Devin, yeah. During that time, like, you wouldn't have known. Like, I don't think I would have known. As a matter of fact, I was coming to him for advice. And
Really?
yeah, like a lot of people don't know in my family and my friendship circles that there was a time I was battling with depression and he was there for me.
Oh my gosh.
So, and then that's us at, I think, my 23rd or 22nd birthday.
Oh, that's a great picture.
Yeah.
Look at your smiles.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Wouldn't have even known.
No.
No, not at all.
Why is it that people feel that they have to hide it? Because I've known it a couple of times in my life, and you would never have known. And it's always the people that are happy and they're doing their job and they're doing their social media and life is going on. Yet behind closed doors, there's enormous depression and anxiety and loneliness. It's amazing to me that people can hide. Well, if you were struggling with that, with depression and anxiety, and I'm sure you hid it from a lot of people, what goes on in someone's mind that they can do that?
I'll speak for me. Him and I had these conversations. So this is like how cunning it is. Like for me, it was I felt all this pressure and the weight of the world, and I was really fortunate that I had a friend that just happened to call me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's like my siblings and I. But I had a friend who just happened to call me and heard something in my voice, came over, picked me up.
And was like, this is not right. This is not normal
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. You had met John. John
Mhm.
was one of the people that took care of me during the 2 weeks that I was like basically on watch. And he was helping me get my life back together. And it was like, I never even thought that my brother didn't have those kinds of friends
Mm-hmm.
because I was so preoccupied with my own stuff. And I think that's partially why, like, if I had to take a guess, like the only thing that he sent like the night before to my mom was, "Hey mom," and I wish I had a picture of it, but "Hey mom, I'm sorry for all the failure times that I've put you through. I promise I'll be a better man." That was it.
Wow.
That was it. And it's not like I knew. It's
Mhm.
not like my sister knew.
Mhm.
It's not, like we knew that he was struggling and we thought that we had like put the family members in his life so that he could have not only the role models and things, but it wasn't what he was. was needing at the time. And it just feels like pain that you want to go away. I think that's the biggest misunderstanding.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What does grief mean to you now? Does it mean something different now than perhaps before he passed? Because it's a different kind of grief, isn't it? I would think.
Yeah. And this is like what started Survive and Thrive, but I was like just holding on to it for so
Mm.
long. And I think this is why like the conversation doesn't get had
Mm.
was because I think this is what we have in common, all three of us,
Mm.
is I was willing to hold my moments when he passed by myself.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And Abby even catches me doing this still to this day
Mhm.
because that's my automatic of you can't see me like this because
Mhm.
I have to be here for you.
Mhm.
I am the doer, I am the shaker, I am the pusher of all things, ideas, visions, and all this stuff. I do genuinely get excited about those things. And the flip side, the dark side to that, for everyone who's wondering about how to have this conversation is like, it is the person that's holding all this stuff on their shoulders. Because my first thought was, okay, I'll be here for all of you. And then I'm going to go sneak off into the garage and curl up into a corner and just have my moment. I'm
Mm.
going to time myself, compartmentalize this so you don't have to see it.
Wow.
Um,
And I think in that there's a fear of showing vulnerability.
Mhm.
And society, like for me, society expects us to be happy, to be doers,
Mhm.
to be action oriented,
Mhm.
to take feelings and push them to the side if they're sad or anger or um, what what we consider negative emotions.
Mhm.
And what's beautiful about the work that we're collectively doing and building this community and even in this healing journey that Alexander didn't know he was on when he started this.
Yeah. That's what it has become. It's
It
become this huge healing journey for you.
beautifully
Yeah.
said.
And he has you by his side, which is phenomenal because I know you were friends at that time when this happened. Did you know each other
We
then?
didn't know each other at the time.
Right.
yeah, we met like probably the following year.
Right. And so you've been with him through this grief journey that he's been on.
Yeah.
So you've been able to be by his side and then to come together to create this. What was the defining moment that you thought, you're not going to let his story be the end of the story. You thought, I'm going to make his life, his story, the beginning of helping somebody else. Was there a defining moment when that happened?
For me, yeah. So I made a post,
Mhm.
um, and I didn't know what kind of backlash that I was gonna get because of it. Like the idea of being able to cry on camera felt very scary.
Mm.
Um, I was at the gym and I was in a sauna and I was finally like letting myself relax for a second after this like very somatic, intensive weekend. Um, that was with a men's organization that was literally for letting go of grief.
Mhm.
Um, and I was like finally in my silence and isolation felt like I could let myself have the moment.
Mm.
And I was like, "Oh, I'm crying right now." Um,
Mm.
I'm crying and I don't know why. I thought I dealt with this. And I have this it was like permission finally as a man to be able to feel that, feel through it instead of compartmentalize it into a box
Mhm.
that was told to never get open again. And
Mhm.
I I finally looked outside of myself and I was like, I don't know what a big following is, but maybe there's someone that on the other side will resonate with this just like
To
me.
help.
Yeah, so I posted it and I got decent feedback.
Mhm.
And there was a lot of like imposter syndrome,
Mm.
but
And why would we feel that? Why would we feel with the grief that you're going through
yeah.
that we always go to the imposter syndrome, you
'Cause
know?
I gotta get validated for myself, gotta get validated that I can do something like
Yeah.
this,
Mm,
and yet it's for others.
Yeah. Because you're
Right.
told, don't cry, be a man, stand up, don't show your emotion. That's
Yeah.
weakness.
100%.
When it's not. And I think that's what's people are being conditioned that is weakness to ask for help, to cry, to show for help. Oh, just get over it. It's fine.
Yeah.
There's plenty of fish in the sea. When you get all of those thrown at you, when actually you just want to say how you're feeling. And so for you to be able to cry and tell people how you were feeling, that vulnerability is, I'm sure you helped a lot of people.
Like I got phone calls.
Mm.
And Abby has a wonderful experience with this as well. Just like being a woman who also society has a very interesting picture of right now. I'm sure you can appreciate this, Charlie. Like you both are very, very well put together women who are effective, efficient, strong leaders, right? And looking to also have this feminine side. Like, I mean, you could speak more into this of the expectations that you've had in the workplace.
Yeah, when you said even a man showing emotion, I feel it in my heart. The lashback almost of people professionally saying, don't show your emotion at work. Don't show up like as you are because there's this expectation. You need to be this cookie cutter box, like pulled out of the box way so that you can be respected, you can be seen, you can get things done. And don't like the phrase don't be too much always comes up because I feel like I lead from my heart, and being able to show those emotions are connecting, are building community. And we talk about it a lot because he sees how I show up personally. And now in the community that we're building and through Survive and Thrive and even the business we're building, that it's very heart led and I get to show up as me authentically. And people want to show up when you show yourself authentically.
Yes. Yeah. It's so true. Authenticity. So, Abby, what was that defining moment for you?
The defining moment for me, we were at home and there was this moment where I could feel an energy shift with Alexander in this. I'm in it. I created this. I'm committed to this, and yet there's still this pull. Because all of this is very for him very vulnerable work. Very he's on the phone all the time. He's opening his heart. It can, if you're not used to doing that, it can also feel very weighty. And that was the moment we decided he was spent an hour or so with me, and we were both crying and holding each other. And I looked at him and I was like, this is your healing journey. This is your closure. And Levar is with us every step of the way. And it just all fully wrapped that he was here to share Levar's story and be a part of it and create community around the work we're doing and how he shows up in the world and how he wants to show up in the world. And not only healing for himself, but it created this space that I could help heal with him. And we've been even closer since, but it's been a beautiful gift.
I'm so glad you have each other to go through this. It just to have somebody by your side. It's the definition of loneliness is like when you have. I feel like to help somebody, when you're just to have someone by your side, doesn't matter. You don't have to talk. You don't have to give reason. You don't have to say anything. Just having someone beside you, or give one of your amazing hugs.
That is true.
You give the best hugs.
Trademark that.
The best hugs. You always want to have an Alexander hug.
You gotta get an Alexander.
Lasts about 5 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not moving. Don't move your arms around from me. I don't get a lot of hugs in my life. I know it's very sad. But so when you hug me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to make this last for a long time. But yes, to go through this together is like you can say, is a blessing.
Yeah.
And you were talking about, the community that you're building. It takes a village, right, to put all this together, to create Thrive and Survive, which is the gala that you so generously putting together, and we're bringing in the wedding community are coming in to help
I
you.
know, like, okay, so
cool.
so Charlie, like I want to get some context to that really, because never had I thought, and I think this is the beautiful thing about community, never had I thought that that was going to be a conversation between us.
I know. You never know when these things come into your life for the whatever reason at the time when they come into them. I recently lost my mum, and not obviously not in the same way that you lost your brother, but
Mm.
grief is grief, and it comes in different ways. Um and I have found that the wedding community is a big community that wants to help and is just wants to give their heart and soul. We're very passionate community. And so when our friend Craig Brunton, came along and said, would you help out with this gala? And then I met you both, and I heard your story about your brother. It's like a no-brainer that we want to help and as much as we can to make this a huge success. So I love the joining of this community with your community, and how are you building your community, and how we want people to come to this gala. So let's talk about Thrive and Survive.
Yeah, so this literally started with me making a bunch of phone calls.
Mm.
And please understand, for everybody who has ever wanted to be in a community, it was a phone call, and I had said to Craig, this was the pitch, right? Craig, you saw me, we had a human connection at an event that was for the wedding community. I know you don't know me from Adam, but I'm building something here, and I'd like you to come to this Zoom meeting.
Mhm.
That was it.
Wow.
That was it. And he happened to say yes. And so then it was phone call after phone call after phone call. And then I think we were on like our fourth or fifth Zoom by the time he said, hey, I'm going to introduce you to Charlie. I get on the phone with you, right? And I'm already crying.
Yeah.
And I said,
We
hey,
had a
come
very
on.
emotional conversation, didn't we?
And that's part of that community building is like before we get into this, this will be a little bit of a tangent, but please understand, like for everybody who watches this, one phone call can dramatically change who ends up in your community and who
Yeah.
views you as community.
Yeah.
So like, please don't skip the importance of it does not have to be polished perfect. It does not have to be scripted, and you don't have to have it all put together. I know I didn't when we first started this whole entire initiative. And so what came with that was, hey, how do we get people all together for an intimate moment with real meaning behind that?
Mm-hmm.
And so Abby, being like an incredible idea machine behind this vision that I had,
Yeah.
decided, hey, let's not just do one event, but let's create a movement.
Yeah.
And so we started to slowly pick out and have these conversations to have vendors, friends, like movers, shakers at a very intimate setting where that's on August 28th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
60 people.
60 people.
Yep, at the an actor studio, and I'll put a link in the show notes so people can go ahead and buy tickets
Yeah.
for it. But what are you hoping to get from that gathering? I know we're wanting to raise money. We want to raise $30,000. Where is that money going to go to? How is it going to help the community? And what do you hope that people take away with them from that event?
One, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
one is to have a new conversation around suicide prevention and being able to take the shame and the stigma away from that. That's one piece of the experience that I want people to have. But two, I want them to have a great time, right? And from our panel discussion, which is on September 23rd, that one's going to be at the Bob Hope Hall, and they get to interact with people in the actual health field on
Great.
getting a new conversation started and having their own personal stories heard. Because our intimate session is more about come have this entertainment show, right? We have a silent auction where a lot of incredible gifts are going to be on display for people to be able to have access to, right? And be able to bid for.
Yeah.
But the big thing that I want people to be able to know that they have is you're going to be able to have a new connection, right? You're going to be able to have a new friend, and the money goes to their general programming. So we have an all sorted audience from teens, young adults, and veterans prevention, because these are all groups that we saw statistically
Yeah.
do not get the care that they need. And the numbers are supporting that it's going down, but it's not going down in a way that's meaningful.
What about the transgender community as well? Because
Mm.
on my street where I live
Mhm.
was this gorgeous transgender teenager who sadly took his life as well. It was a horrific day. I can see and hear it all now, but he was the most amazing little kid that would skateboard up and down my driveway, and I think that the statistics in the transgender community as well is huge.
Well, and I saw this actually. What was interesting within teens specifically,
Mm.
teen transgender is more than 60% of that number.
Cool.
So when we opened it up to this general program and we had the conversation with AFSP, we were like, what is more meaningful here? Is it meaningful to go for one strict vertical and have that be where this money goes toward? Or is it more meaningful, the community that we impact and start to have these events on an ongoing basis to be able to welcome?
Every
Yeah.
Everyone.
person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's great.
So being able to have the conversation,
Mm.
I saw it as when I was looking at the numbers and what we wanted to create here was knowing that you have a home is better than putting a picture saying that there is a home.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so as far as the transgender community is concerned, they have a home here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that I feel like in our how we've built around this and how we brought in individuals, Alexander's done an amazing job intuitively reaching out and has even learned through this process. He was talking about just picking up the phone and making a phone call because you never know how it's not only going to impact the other person, but how it impacts you
Mhm.
and how deeply those relationships have shown up. And here I don't want to say we're in the business of creating deeply connected communities, but
Yeah.
I feel like my vision for the world is having deeply connected communities.
Mm.
And Alexander's opened a door that where grief and love and hope and resources and that community can live no matter how you identify, how you show up.
Mhm.
I sit in the queer community, and so I completely understand the different stigmas and feeling like you can't be all of who you are all the time, and even how to talk about it.
Mhm.
And this this is just the beginning of creating the movement and the communities that are filled with love and joy and resources and a hand out or a hand to hold you up even
Mhm.
through whatever you're going through.
Yeah. How did you become involved in the American Society of Suicide Prevention?
Yeah. I had my eye on them for a really long time during my own struggles,
Mhm.
but I never reached out. And I think that's something like key here. I could scroll and scroll and scroll and
Mm.
scroll. Um, and it took a moment like this for me to finally say, um, I want to partner with a community and organization that already has an infrastructure behind it
Yeah.
that I've been following for quite some time. And what was ironic was like again to make meaning, to make connection, to make community. I just kept calling them.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally there was no it was like how we got on the phone. There
Yeah.
was no script, there was no pitch, like, it was just like I spoke from my heart, and I just wasn't going to get told no.
He
Yeah.
doesn't take no for an
No, I
answer
love
ever.
that.
Yeah, I
What about
did.
you?
I was like, "Take me to the next person. Who else do I need to go to?"
Yeah.
And then it ended up to the regional here in the
Yeah.
Los Angeles chapter and talking to their CEO. I was like, "I'm just not gonna stop."
What do you think Levar would say about this?
He would say, "Yeah, that's you."
Yeah, that's my brother.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
I think and, like, that takes me back to at his actual reception.
Yeah.
Um, his then partner at that time, who he was dating, came up to me, and again, this is why I think connection is so important. Because her name was Rebecca, and she came up to me and goes, I just want you to know. And I was still feeling angry
Mm.
in such an odd space. I was almost feeling shame around the sadness that I was feeling, and shame around the anger. She comes up to me, puts her hand on my leg, and is like, "Do you understand how much he loved you? Like, all he wanted to be like was you." And I'm the baby.
Oh.
And like, it finally let me break a little bit
Yeah.
because I had no idea that my eldest brother looked up to me.
Mm.
It's amazing after death when you hear these things that you didn't know about a family member. You didn't know your brother felt that about you. And I can only equate to, like, when my mom died, I didn't know my brother had feelings about me with my mom. And you just don't know until someone passes. And why aren't we having those conversations while people are alive? Why are we not telling our brothers or our sisters, you're amazing, I love you, I look up to you? We don't have those conversations. And if anything we take out from this, is we need to tell people we love them, we admire them, whatever. We just need to say how we feel. Why is there this stigma around that we can't do that?
Yeah,
You know.
I'm 100%.
Mm.
And please, like, do not wait. Like, and that's that, that goes into this community as well. Don't wait to join the community. Don't wait to buy a ticket. Don't wait to have a chance to have the connection that draws you in to have you take some real action on your life, because you may come to this and you may not have suicide directly affect you. You may be just there for the entertainment or the person that's on the panel, and that's also okay. And yet, when you integrate afterwards, because there will be a moment of integration at both of
Mm.
these events. And because of that, you take the action to call somebody
Mm-hmm.
that gets you out of the busyness of life. This guy, cut me off, this, whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
And that 5 minute, 15-minute, whatever conversation,
Yeah.
you just saved a life.
I was just thinking about that this morning, funnily enough, driving here. I was thinking about people's lives. We don't know what's going on in people's lives when you're driving down the street and someone cuts you off. And literally, someone cut me off, and
Mm.
you want to go, God damn, and you want to, like, slap your hands down. But you don't know what that person's brain is, who is driving that car. Maybe this just happened to him. You don't know. Maybe he's just got devastating news. Maybe, walk him out in someone else's shoes. We don't think like that every day. And I've really tried recently to, like, start thinking about walking in someone else's shoes and what they're going through when they react a certain way, which isn't how you're going to react. You don't know what they're going through.
No.
And funny that you should bring that up. I was just thinking about that today, and thinking about on September 23rd when we do the big gala. It was 420 people at the bar,
420 people.
which is amazing. Will there be someone? I feel like we don't know how to talk to somebody. Like, how do you open the conversation when you see someone is struggling? Like, what are like, I feel like we need to be educated in that, how to talk to somebody to help them. And also, when this does happen, and for example, say that the mother of the transgender kid on my blog, I didn't know what to say to her after I had seen her. And you don't want to say, how are you feeling? Because you just feel that's just such, you know,
Yeah.
you want to go deeper than that. And so it's very hard. And I feel like that education would be, so valuable.
Well, and then so the beautiful thing about this panel, like, and why, like, it just tickles me and I just get excited about it, talking about it,
Mm.
was the intention that I want people to leave with when they experience that portion of it, is it was set in the discourse. I originally wanted to get people on a panel who did not believe in suicide,
Really?
because if I can't have a conversation, right? Because I'm embarrassed,
Mm-hmm.
speak to my neighbor who could be next door, but they feel miles away.
Mm-hmm.
That's where all this stemmed from, right? Why would I be able to have the comfort and vulnerability to be able to talk about, let alone someone else's, my own family troubles?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted people to understand how to have discourse, so that if you're not perfect, right?
Which none of us are.
None of us
No.
are. None of us know how to
Yeah, but imagine
this.
you're one of 400 that's getting a learning in how to
Yeah.
have discourse,
Yeah.
whether it's someone who is a father, right, of the Catholic Church. I definitely can't talk about it then, right? I'm a filmmaker, right? Or I'm just a mother, right? Or I'm a rising athlete, right? What happens when the world is on my shoulders and I'm in the public eye? Can I have that conversation? Right? So people be able to walk away understanding what discourse looks like in real time and be able to ask questions around that. And then we're going to have resources there that are going to allow people to know how to have the conversation, the numbers to call, right?
The crisis lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a very valuable thing for anyone to come to, whether this has touched your life, if it hasn't touched your life. You know, I was just like in researching, talking to you today, the statistics are overwhelming. There's 720,000 people worldwide die by suicide. And predominantly, it's the higher for the men than it is in women, and 50,000 in the US alone. That's staggering numbers. That's like one person every 40 seconds. And this is happening without us knowing. You know, we're not.
Because I live like this.
Yes.
Well, we're in a world where the world is at our fingertips. And we don't have to engage with people if we don't want to.
Yeah.
And it's keeping us from being able to have the conversations, being able to like touch another person or have the warm embrace or feel like if we're in our apartment for a week to be able to come out and connect with someone else or even be in public. Going to the grocery store can sometimes be hard because we've isolated ourselves so far from like just societal norms. And when we're able to create like habits and communities that support us, that where you feel like home, even if you're far away from home, you can show up as all of you. And it's totally awkward at first. Like being vulnerable with strangers is so awkward. But they're there too, and they want to see you and they want to support you. And being able to just show up is like the beautiful part. And that's what we're creating in our vision for both of the events, and just being able to show up just as you and be met with others that want to know you.
So this will be a safe place for people to go, struggling or not struggling. Yeah, I think it's going to be a phenomenal success. It is amazing how we're so digitally connected now, but we are not connected as a human race. And it's got worse, obviously, since the pandemic when we just were all alone.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, so I want to touch upon this because I think having a background and being in the health field, and a lot of what our vision now looks towards is corporate wellness. I had to sit down with a community of HR representatives, and the conversation and the zeitgeist in corporate America at the moment, right, that I saw from these people who have 10, 15, 30 years of tenure in these respected communities, even leadership, is that people still want to work from home, but they don't know how to access community. They want to engage, but they're scared to have the conversation. So to the number of 50,000 people in the United States, one every 40 seconds, right, approximately, right, we are so disconnected. And it's not like this is just happening personally. This is happening in the workplace, right? Being able to have these new conversations. So for people that follow you and watch this and discover this, I hope they understand that like we are looking for this to expand in the workplace so that people can see this, right? Because if we can create community outside of the workplace, then we'll feel safe to be able to be in the workplace.
Yeah.
Right? And if I just drop off, someone doesn't just view me as a number, a statistic. They really want to know where I am, not just another dollar made.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's really what our whole entire calling, mission, vision has been about with 2026, whether it be on the business side or in this initiative, in this gala of Survive and Thrive. And I think that's important as well. Yeah.
Very important. I'm just so honored to be a part of this gala, and I know it's going to be a huge success. I know you're going to bring so much education to everybody. And I just thank you so much for being here today and telling us about Levar and this conversation that needs to be had that's uncomfortable. No, it was nobody wants to talk about it, but everyone needs to talk about it. Like what does hope mean to you?
Mm.
Hope means community,
Mm-hmm.
means a chance at connection.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hope isn't pretending that everything is okay. Hope is believing that today's pain doesn't have to become tomorrow's ending.
No.
That's that's
cool.
what we hope that that by doing this movement that somebody that is reaching out for hope, that you help them in every possible way and that tomorrow is not the ending. I just thought that was like such a great thing of hope. But I loved what you said.
If someone could just have one piece of hope,
Mm-hmm.
God, I can get through today and just maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you.
I really appreciate you for being here, and I look forward to helping create a little bit of this movement with you and seeing it grow and seeing the fruits of you helping people.
We're excited to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. And we do it in Levar's name, and he'll be a huge part of that evening, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And thank you for having the discussion with me today.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie.
Alexander and Abby, thank you for your honesty, for your vulnerability, and for reminding us that behind every statistic is a person, a family, and a story. I hope today's conversation inspires all of us to check in on the people we love a little more often, to ask the difficult questions, and to listen without judgment, and to remember that hope is always stronger when it's shared. And because this is a suicide prevention podcast today, it's valuable to remind listeners that if they or someone you know is struggling, please know that help is available. And reaching out is one of the bravest things you can do. In the US and Canada, calling or texting 988 connects people to the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, where counselors are available 24/7. And to everyone listening, thank you for joining us for this very special episode of The Charley King Show. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.